It's better if I come in.
All right, we are live. The red light is on. Dave Van Auken with the incomparable promoter of all promoters, Dean Toole. Dean, my brother, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, my man. Doing good. You guys have been very busy. A lot of moving parts up there in the Panhandle. First and foremost, I know there's Island Fight Show coming up next weekend. Very excited. Been seeing a lot of fight posters. Looks like a very stacked show on the 18th.
Yeah, ton of fights. I think we have anywhere between 16 and 18 fights on that card. Matt Hefner returning, little 19-year-old phenom, undefeated, fighting for the title. So super pumped about that card.
That kid's a stud. And for being so young and so talented, it's amazing how much mixed martial arts have evolved in this 10, 15-year boom of it. Who would have thought an 18-year-old 10 years ago would be that talented in so many different genres? It's not just he's an unbelievable striker, just a grappler. He seems like he's got the full package.
And he's doing it like the best way ever. He's fighting tough fights, staying active.
Yeah.
And just absolute necessary steps to becoming a very good professional.
I love it. I don't want to go too close or too fast on it, but also I'm so excited. You guys dropped a major announcement. I feel it was last week. I saw it in so many different outlets and people write-ups on it. Off the Hook series, May 3rd. I'll say that 5 times fast, right? May 3rd in Biloxi, Mississippi. What brought you to really kind of push boxing? A lot of boxing seems like is like this right now, ascending in so many different levels. Seems like it's very hot in the combat sports space.
It's Off the Hook boxing series. It's the reason we did it is, Island Fights has been known for doing hybrid events forever. We do professional boxing and MMA on a lot of our cards. But the amount of boxers we have coming up and the amount of other boxers that can't get fights, can't stay active. Like, boxing is a very complicated business on the come up. Even the biggest promotions in the world, there's, the Golden Boys, the Top Ranks, all the different promotions there are, right? Matchroom. There's no consistent show for people that are 0-0, 1-0, 4-0, whatever, that want to start getting the career of boxing. Not just MMA guys that want to go take a boxing match or a bare knuckle boxing match or something, because it's like a different thing for them to do. This is like, there's so many up and coming, like, talented boxers that have been training boxing since they're 5-6 years old, been competing since they were 8 years old, have 60-70 amateur fights plus in the hundreds of amateur fights. And there's just nowhere for these people to fight. And people that aren't familiar with the boxing world, is when you do start in the boxing world, typically you don't get paid anything. Typically you're paying for your opponent's purse, you're paying for your opponent's travel, you're paying for your opponent's hotel, you're paying for your opponent's medicals, you're doing everything. And sometimes, and even some cases, you're paying a slot fee to get on somebody's card. And they used to have these all over back in the day, and people were paying them every second. A card would be announced, they'd have 12 fights, $500 a piece. You got to pay $500 just to get a slot on the card, and then you were required to pay your opponent their medicals. It's just a whole entire very complicated situation that most people in the MMA world don't even know that this exists. But it's super expensive for one. It's super complicated, and there's just not a lot of events going on that do that. So we were working on with a bunch of different deals for different cities, states, casinos, and those people. Not that they don't want a hybrid show, but they want boxing, they want MMA. And I feel like it's the best opportunity to give opportunities to the athletes, is to separate the two on the professional level. So meaning, before, if I had 6 MMA fights and 6 boxing matches, that's 12 fighters for each each discipline. But it's 6 other fights and 12 other fighters that didn't get a shot to fight on our MMA card. Or it's six fights, 12 total fighters that didn't get a shot to fight on the boxing card. So this just provides people more opportunity to stay active and compete on a regular show. And we'll have one every 6 to 8 weeks. We'll have an Off the Hook boxing series event.
With that being said, is Off the Hook only professional boxing, or will there be amateur as well?
It depends on the state.
Okay.
Places like Mississippi, yeah, for sure, we would put it on there because it's not like having to bring in 2 sanctioning bodies. Everything's done through the commission.
Right.
So that, yeah, we're gonna try to just have professional boxing, but if there are amateurs that want to compete on those shows in those states, then we'll have that as well. But it'll
And
be
then
a
with that,
consistent show for everybody to get to fight. And we have no idea. I mean, in the thousands of people that have reached out to compete.
wow. With that being said, would that mean going forward that Island Fights becomes more of a strictly mixed martial arts show, or will there be an occasional, if the right matchup or timing or will
Island
boxing?
Fights, like our regular amateur events that we do every 8 weeks, will
Yeah.
be everything: boxing, kickboxing,
Okay.
even grappling if that ever happens, and MMA. But Island Fights pro shows will be MMA.
Okay. Very cool. Very
And it
cool.
helps too. And like, there are some budgeting things. Whenever we have mixing, like if you have an all boxing card, you have your budget for an all boxing card. You know what that's gonna be. When I add
Right.
some high level boxing guys to an already stacked MMA card, you're talking like one opponent in boxing can cost more than your entire mixed martial arts card combined. So when you're dealing with guys that are 13-0 to 20-0, it gets crazy expensive, So we'd rather just keep it separate, give everybody on both disciplines as much opportunity as possible. And we have so many deals we're working on right now where we're almost at the finish line with where we'll be doing boxing in a lot of places, several different cities, several states. We just applied for our promoter's license in Nevada yesterday. So working on some big things at some major casinos there. So we'll be doing shows everywhere, and this doesn't affect anything else. Obviously, game bred boxing, game bred bare knuckle MMA, like, game bred boxing, we do pretty huge events for that.
Yeah.
It's just not a show that we do every 8 weeks. This is a show that we'll be doing every 8 weeks that hopefully builds into something huge. We end up with a network deal or a streaming deal
Right.
throughout the process. So
I would assume 2 stars, especially for Off the Hook, I would assume is Devin Cushion, who's been through that Island Fights window and big opportunities last year in 2024. And then also Sabin, right? Sabin Kura, who both undefeated, very high level boxers. I would assume these are maybe pillars of the organization.
always, and I tell everybody this, like the reason I'm in the boxing world is because of that's my nephew. It's Devin Cushing. I've been in the boxing gyms and I've been watching him compete since he was 8 years old. All over the country. So that's a big reason why we're in the boxing business to begin with. But the overwhelming support and all of the people, like I have so many people, 5-0 to 20-0. I mean, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. I'm not even kidding. It's probably over 1,000 people that reached out to give us their rosters, athletes, undefeated guys, and everyone's saying, man, this is the greatest thing ever. You have no idea. And the thing is, they all tell me, you have no idea how hard it is to get fights. It's crazy. You got boxers that have been training since they're 5 years old. They're out here taking MMA fights because and they're not MMA guys. They just can't get a fight, or they quit, they retire, they go get a job, they, get their girl pregnant, just all these situations that actually happen. I've seen happen a million times that detour them from their path of being a professional athlete and taking it as far as they can go. And, if there's nobody doing events, how can you show the world that you're the best in the world? And that's what I said when we announced this in our press release was, some of the greatest boxers in the world, you'll never even know they exist because they've never had the opportunity to get to compete. Maybe they don't have a, some sort of funding from somebody that's going to pay for their opponents and coming up such a hard way of paying your opponent's purse, medicals, travel, flights, and everything, etc. Like it's very expensive. So it's different. When you're in MMA, you're trying to get your 3 fights, 4 fights, get on the Contender Series. If you win there and you have a good performance, you get a UFC contract, and you could be as little as 4-0. You know, a
Right.
guy like Bo Nickel was a 1-0 professional, fought 2 fights on the Contender. He's in the UFC at 3-0.
Crazy.
And Hamdi Abdel Wahab 4-0. Like SD Dumas, all these people went very quickly. It's not like back in the day you had to be 10-0, 10-1, 11-1, beat on a 3-fight win streak against somebody in the top 10. Like, you know, it's a much easier process to get into the UFC, and they get to make like, you know, 12,000 a show, 12,000 a win on their
Right.
5th fight. In boxing, you got to have 20 fights. No one even knows you exist. Deontay Wilder was like 37-0, and nobody, I mean, 1 out of 100 people would stop him on the street and be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're Deontay Wilder," unless you're like a diehard fan. So it's just something that we're trying to change and give people that outlet.
I love it. I love it. Talking about you mentioned his name. I think SD Dumas fights this Saturday night, UFC 314 in South Florida. It's wild to see so many. We talk about it all the time off air. We talk about sometimes on air. It's so wild to see the branches of what Island Fights has done for so long, and all these big fights and fighters. And we literally just talked about Jillian Robertson. She's got UFC records. All these people came out of this Island Fights banner. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, Island Fights, Icon, so many people. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll have fight cards and there's 4 people on the same card, you know. Like the UFC Noche had Ignacio Bahamondes, Daniel Zellhuber, Lazy Boy Rodriguez, who's like a superstar now. I think he has 2 million followers.
2 million followers on IG.
It's insane. Like, and I remember him knocking out a guy on the beach during COVID when there's no fans allowed in San Carlos, Mexico. Like, crazy stuff, you know. And it's like just insane to see. Amanda Serrano was our headliner in Sinaloa, Mexico, fighting in an MMA match.
Madison Square Garden now, once again.
Yeah, co-main event to Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, undisputed world champion, like in several different weight divisions. Like, it's pretty crazy.
Even your commentators are blowing up. It's amazing to see these people.
It's nuts, man. They're getting so good. They're just shaving their head off.
Crazy. I want to talk about one I keep on seeing on your socials. I believe he's the coach at American Top Team, and he's got a prospect down there. Can you talk about him?
Several prospects. So they have a whole group of guys that are going to be competing with us regularly. So they have Brazilian national champions. They have everything you can imagine, and they have a whole slew of people. This one, you know, we didn't have the next Off the Hook event is August 16th. This one was super quick. It was the only date they had, and we're like, hey, let's just go. Let's just start this thing. So we'll probably have a lot more people, tons of really good record guys and big name guys that are going to come over and fight on those cards. And I think August 16th will be a much like bigger boxing card. But this one we had to put it together pretty quickly. So, but we'll have, you know, Devin Cushing, Saban Cura, Corey Stokes, maybe Javon Davis, the Wolf. He's an 8-0 prospect coming up.
I saw the fight book. Chase Sherman's on the card.
Chase Sherman's making his pro boxing debut. Mike Sanford, I think, is making his pro boxing debut. You know, American Top Team, D'Iberville. Then we have a few of Roy Jones's people are going to be on the card. So Roy Jones will be in the building. Just a lot of upcoming. I think Chris Young will be fighting again, a prospect under Roy Jones, 135-pounder. A few really, really good people. Brock Weaver has a super talented kid. Martavius, I think it's teens. Killer, 135-pounder coming up. So a lot of prospects on this card in like the 1-0 to 8-0 range outside of Saban and Devin. And then obviously, you know, Chase is a heavyweight, former UFC guy. He doesn't need, when you're a heavyweight, you don't need 20 fights. So
I was just going to jump on that. So funny. It's amazing if Off the Hook can and get 4 to 6, 8 heavyweights. The heavyweights division just needs umph. You know what I mean? They need multiple guys, or you know, to really jump on the scene. And if, like you said, a younger heavyweight, they can make a big name in 18 months. Big.
Yeah, I mean, look at Tyrone Spong. Tyrone Spong was ranked number 2 in the world in the WBO, WBA, IBF, and he was 12-0. But he's also had 100 or 200 professional fights, something like that, you know?
Yeah.
So it's going to be crazy, you know?
Wow. Very
and then that's hopefully somebody that we're can love to get on our card as well. You know, he's about to fight on Karate Combat
Yeah.
against Sam Alvey for
Sam
the
Alvey.
heavyweight title in Dubai on May 2nd. I was supposed to be at that event, and then we had our event we had booked. So, you know, we will catch the next one. But he's going to have a huge year, not only with Karate Combat, but in boxing. He's going to have a huge year. Some huge fights coming up.
Yeah, man. I might see you guys Friday night in South Florida.
Yeah, you might.
Love it. You said Off the Hook 8/16 is the second show. Of course, first one May 3rd, Biloxi, Mississippi. Do you have a location for that August show just yet? Do you want to keep that to yourself, or couple options?
I almost have it done, but
okay,
we'll announce it. We'll probably announce it at the event, but like I said, several cities, several states. We just applied for a promoter's license, both for MMA and for boxing for Nevada. So some huge casinos there that
How long does that usually take for the
sports.
promotion license to be approved?
It takes a good bit of time. You know, you got to go in front of the commission.
Yeah.
And they have that commission meeting once a month. I think it's once a month, and you got to just ask questions and different things like that. So
I love it. People are in the comments saying Dean Toole does not sleep. Man, love it. So island fights
and Mexico. Sorry, we're working on some things there too. So my buddy owns the a couple arenas, you know, all over. I forget, but I think he has the NBA. It's the Mexican NBA team for one of these arenas. I forget the name of it, but I think it might be in Mexico City. But we're working on a few different things. So Mexico definitely will be going there too, and we're hopefully going to be doing like a Island Fights event one night, Off the Hook the next night.
Wow.
So two events back to back in the same.
The UFC had a great show over there in Mexico City a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
That's very interesting.
Untapped market for both things, you know. And it's not that it's untapped. There are shows, you know, Lux is a great event for MMA over there. I know that there's several boxing things going on, but not saying it's like a lower quality. It's just not like none of the major things are going there. Like even though, you know, the UFC comes to Miami every April, you know, it's once a year. Like there's not a consistent thing. So we're just trying to put on like a consistent, really good event all over, you know, get to 12 events a year, get to 24 events a year, and just keep scaling from there, both with boxing and MMA.
Right. I saw a video of John Gunther saying something about boxing, but of course, a high-end MMA prospect, guys like Cam Bennett. Of course, we just saw
he wanted to do an MMA fight on that card. So,
okay.
And we would have did it if they wanted to fight each other. Yeah, we would have did that for sure. So.
Right. Well, with that saying that, there seems like you guys do have a, you know, it comes in waves. You guys build fighters, or, you know, you give fighter opportunities. They get those 4, 5, 6 wins like you talked about earlier. Then they go on the Contender Series, UFC. Now it seems like there's this third or maybe fourth wave for you guys. When is the next time in MMA, or we're going to see these 3, 4, 5 fighters get another, you know, opportunity for a win?
Well, we have a deal with the Hard Rock, so I'm just waiting to announce that date. So we also have 6 more dates in Pensacola for the rest of the year, and then we have 3 more dates at the Hard Rock. That's just Island Fights. So no matter what, those guys will all fight minimum 3 or 4 more times before the end of the year. So John Gunther, Cam Bennett, Kayla, Blake Anthony, you know, and a lot of these guys. I'm pretty sure Cam Teague is super close. He'll probably get a.
How great was that fight, Cam Teague versus David Zellner?
Incredible. David Zellner is an absolute savage, you know.
Yeah.
And Cam Teague. I know Cam Teague is super young. Like he has glimpses of being like unbeatable. You know, he looks like a pro boxer sometimes. He's long. He's got a great jab, great hook, great right hand. Like just once he puts it all together completely, he's going to be very tough to beat. Like even at the UFC level for sure. So I think he's super close to being. He'll probably get a short notice UFC fight, or 100% he'll be on the Contender. And I know that the PFL is super like interested in him also.
Yeah, a couple shows down in Orlando, Florida. Fipin ass will be at all the shows.
Wow.
I got to put, this is really funny to me. This guy, Luke Murphy, can't stand Van Auken. Such an annoying presenter with no real substance. And then this nice guy goes, Luke Murphy, you have 3 genders. Gotta love these comment sections.
Is he joking with you? Or?
I don't know. Hey, maybe Luke Murphy doesn't like it. Who knows? Christopher Roston goes, Dean, Jesse Roston says he's chomping at the bit for a game bred bare knuckle date.
Well, as soon as we have that date, he'll be fighting for the welterweight title, 100%.
Wow.
So we're not just working on one date, just an update on that. We're in we don't want to do like a one-off again. So once we announce our next date, we're going to announce our entire schedule for the rest of the year. Right. And it's just only fair to obviously the athletes competing, our staff, everybody that works with us, period. So we are going to be announcing that soon, and we will be announcing our entire schedule for the rest of the year. So
yeah, very excited because it seems like you guys were Game Bred Bare Knuckle was building out, the rankings and building out just the structure of stuff, and it's
there's just a lot of things like infrastructure and internal things, actually building out rankings. There's a lot that goes into it. And there's also a lot that goes into picking venues, making sure that when we're even on like an Island Fights year, we start in October building out January, February, March, April, so just contacting the venues, securing dates, making sure the commission has that date, making sure whichever platform you're on is cool with that date. It's like 4 or 5 things, making sure your main event can do that date, because it makes there's so many things. Imagine, you need 4 keys to go in the same hole, and then you get to the 4th key and it doesn't fit. And it's like, man, you got to start all over again, get a brand new date. It's very complicated and it takes months and months of preparation, but should be very soon. We'll be announcing our entire schedule.
Love it. Love it. 2 last things for you, and then I'll let you run, my man. Off the Hook. I know you're talking about a website and Instagram. Can you tell people where to find all this great information and the new website for Off the Hook Boxing?
Yeah, it's offthehookbx.com. All of our tickets are on sale at offthehookbx.com. Our Instagram is at offthehookbx. Same thing on Facebook, I believe, and Twitter. X, sorry. But yeah, we'll be announcing most of the card for the rest of the week. I think the whole fight card will be announced and finished. It's close to being done. Maybe in the next day or so, the whole thing will be done, and we'll get that announced. And we have Island Fights next week, and 2 weeks later we'll be Off the Hook 1.
I love it. Cannot wait for both events. I saw a couple days ago, Island Fights had a post about where the weigh-ins and the after party is going to be. Where is that going to be again?
That's my good buddy. He owns this bar downtown Pensacola called Play. It's like their take on Dave and Buster's for adults. It's super cool. Yeah. It's the first time we've ever done the weigh-ins there and the after party. We typically frequent this place our whole lives, so it's all a bunch of familiar faces. So we're super excited that we did a deal with them there. He's like a really good friend of ours, Ed Bonacia, Al, and Pete Smith, Dr. Pete Smith. He's also my chiropractor. So nice. He's got his hands in a few different things. But yeah, super excited about that. It'll be the most busy Play has ever been in their entire life.
I hear there's a $100 event going on there. Nick Pinto versus Dave Van Auken shooting basketball. So we'll see.
Let's go.
If he accepts the challenge.
You think your hair will come over by then?
It's getting there. It's getting a little bit on top.
Let's talk about that. Let's interview you real quick. So what were you thinking that day when you're like, hey, my logo is my hair combed over? I'm just gonna shave it all off.
Yeah, it was after the fact, maybe it wasn't the greatest decision. But I didn't want to buy a red Corvette. I was going a little midlife crisis. Maybe I was like, I'm just going to do this. Didn't want to buy another car. Just
how'd you feel after you did it?
I felt good for the first couple of days, and now I missed it. I was at the PFL and taking nice pictures. And I go, where is my hair? I didn't like it.
I'm surprised people
And
knew
then
who
I
you
got a
were.
big show Friday at Aiden Ross. I got a humongous show at Island Fights in 2 weeks. I got to grow back by then. Yeah. Is that any other questions you want?
Oh, I mean, that's all I had. I think that's
I can't wait. I'm
general
very
question.
excited.
The general question in our office was about your hair. It's a question here. Everybody in the office has been asking. So I don't know if you addressed that to all the people on here or not.
Yeah, we did on the live show, and not a lot of people like it. Oh my gosh. Christopher J says, Dean, I saw some new sponsors for Island Fights. Yeah, Island Fights is a booming business.
So many. We have Cloud9 renovations. We have Play. We have Something Asian, which is a Greasy Burger, Aquaberry, Something Asian. It's all of those companies combined. We have, oh my gosh, I'm not in front of everything, but
how about what would transport us
Aquaforce Marine? I don't know if we've announced that yet, but we have Elite RX, like a TRT company that do everything from weight cloths to TRT to peptides to sexual enhancement, everything that they do, we have, who else do we have? We have Eager Beaver Tree Care, longtime sponsor forever. We have, I believe it's Amber Jernigan. She's a real estate with Keller Williams, local real estate agent in town. I
followed her. She's a great page, great stuff on the real estate.
Perdido Party Bus.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me just, before I
man, I'm telling you, you have to get
those are off the dome, Part Brothers, which is Robbie Bobby. He owns a company called D&D Cycles, where they sell everything from Ducati, Triumph, all these major brands for motorcycles. So they're co-sponsoring with their brand new company called Part Brothers, where they have this huge eBay store where they're selling parts for motorcycles, and like the money that comes in for their company sends them to compete in these national like championship races that they enter. Competitive Edge, which is Mark Patterson. They're our party deck sponsor every single event. Even when they can't come, they still sponsor. They're one of our greatest sponsors. Billy Clark Bail Bonds. He's sponsored our fights for probably the past 10 years. Whether he comes or not does not matter. He's the greatest ever. He's the guy you call when your parents and friends and family won't answer, when he'll bail you out when they won't. So yeah, it's Amber Jernigan of Keller Williams Gulf Coast. She's a brand new sponsor of us. She was the 2024 Best of Coast winner for real estate. Perdido Key Party Bus. Elite RX Kickback in Greenlight District. It's a local smoke shop, and they have the drink that everybody drinks after the fights, which is THC infused soda called Kickback. We have Rocky's Trailers, which is my buddy Chad Brown, who owns Creek Waste. He just started this brand new company called Rocky's Trailers. It's everything from utility trailers, enclosed trailers, every type of trailer you can imagine. They're on our Instagram if you ever need a trailer. Cloud9 is my buddy Matt Mercado. He does renovations and remodeling, and now they're building new homes. So they're blowing up, Matt Mercado. And then the 850 Criminal Defense is Mick Cavicius Law, and huge sponsor of ours. Incredible. So we have everything. If you need a lawyer when you get in trouble, or you need to be bailed out, you know who to call. Then when you get your life together and you want to build a house, you call Cloud9. Then when you want to celebrate, you take Perdido Party Bus out after.
Unbelievable. Got it all, guys. Island Fights on the 18th, April 18th, Friday, April 18th. Then go to offthehookbx.com. Get your tickets for the Off the Hook boxing series on May 3rd, live in Biloxi, Mississippi. Dean Toole, anything else, my man?
That's it. Appreciate you, brother.
There we go. Signing off. We'll talk to you really soon. Hey, 1:00 tomorrow, Bo Nichols live on the show. So can't wait to talk to him.
Let's go.
See you guys very soon. April 18th.